Welcome to the My Fun Podcast. Yay! Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today on the show, my friend. My name is Wanu Alishe, and sometimes I do go by Amazing Soul. Thank you. So I'm pretty excited about today's episode on the podcast because it's something that is very near and dear to my heart because it took a lot of repeated experiences for me to really, really understand why it was happening. So, with no further ado, let's get into it. So, today we're going to be talking about why do old patterns come back after I thought I healed them? Yes, the very beautiful pattern recognition. So, I want to start with a question that, I hear all the time. And honestly, one I have asked myself so many times. Why do old patterns come back after I thought I healed them? You know that moment when you do the work, you have the insight, you cry the tears, you journal, you regulate, you feel like something finally has shifted. And then months later, or even years later, the same pattern shows up again. Same reaction, same emotional flavor, same trigger, same body sensation. And your mind goes, wait, I thought I already healed this. Why is this back? Did I fail at something? Or did I do something wrong? Is my nervous system broken? All those thoughts. So today, I want to talk about why this happens, not from a self-help or motivational angle, no, but from a nervous system awareness and lived experience angle. Because what I have learned on my journey is this: old patterns don't come back because you failed. No, they come back because your system is ready to meet them at a new level. One of the biggest myths we're taught is that healing is linear, that healing looks like a straight road. You start here, you do the work, and you arrive there and you're done. No, but that's not how our nervous system works. That's not how memory works. That's not how the body works. And that's definitely not how awareness works. Healing is not a straight line, it's a spiral. I like to imagine it as an upward spiral, or even a vertical elevator that keeps looping around the same floors. But each time you are at a higher altitude, so yes, you meet the same themes again, but there's a difference. You meet them with more awareness, more capacity, more safety, and most importantly, more choice. You see, the pattern isn't repeating in the same way. You are different when it repeats. That's the key. And it's not, why is this happening again? It's more like, who am I now when this happens again? That's the difference. Another key difference or something to bring our attention to is patterns are not mistakes. No, they're not. Patterns are adaptive strategies your nervous system created when it didn't have better options. At some point in your life, a reaction kept you safe, a behavior kept you connected, a coping mechanism kept you surviving. That's just what it was. Your system learned this works, store this. That's it. And the nervous system is incredibly loyal. It doesn't care about your spiritual awakening. It doesn't care about your growth identity. It doesn't care about your vision board. No, it cares about one thing: predictability equals safety. That's the only thing it cares about. So when you encounter a similar emotional, relational, or sensory environment later in your life, your system says, oh, I know this one, and it reaches for the old file. Now, here is where it gets very vital. Not because you failed, and it's not because you're broken, but because that file used to work. So imagine this. Your nervous system is like an iPhone. Version 1.0 was installed in childhood, then life happens. Trauma happens, stress happens, love happens. Your system updates. Then you have version 2.0, version 3.0, version 4.0. So, but here's the thing. Every update still has to run on the same hardware. So when a familiar stimulus appears, the system runs on old program, but now with new awareness. That is key. And that's not a bug. That's how integration happens. Now, the pattern has to show up again so the new version of you can meet it. That's all. Now, I will share this through my own experience. In 2022, I had severe lower back pain, not just physical, I mean, emotional, existential, identity shaking pain, kind of pain that forced me to slow down and sit with my body. It forced me to notice my patterns that I had never seen before. The very first time I remember I became consciously aware of what was happening in my body. Woo, it was very intense. I will tell you, there was a lot of fear. There was grief. There was resistance. There was panic. And there was also a sense of my life is falling apart. But I stayed. I didn't bypass. I didn't override. I didn't disassociate. I stayed with the sensation. I stayed with the emotion. I stayed with the questions. And that was when something shifted. Not disappeared, shifted is the key word here. Then, months later, the pain came back. And my mind wanted to go, oh no, here we go again. But this time, it felt different. Less threatening, less charged. Same location in my body, but not the same meaning. No. So I stayed again. And over time, this is key, the emotional charge softened. Then it came back again and again. But every time it came back softer. That's the difference. Until eventually, the pattern didn't need to show up anymore. Not because I forced it away, not because I fixed it, but because I grew beyond needing that signal. Awareness does not erase your patterns. Awareness changes your relationship to your patterns, and that is what dissolves them. So, you see, my friend, every time a pattern arises and you suddenly notice it sooner, feel it more gently, stay present instead of reacting, and most importantly, meet it with some curiosity instead of judgment. What you are doing is you're reducing the emotional charge stored in it. That is powerful. And patterns are sustained by charge. And when the charge dissolves, here's what's key: the pattern loses purpose. And when a pattern loses purpose, the nervous system releases it naturally. Not dramatically, not ceremonially, quietly. I know, I get it. It feels discouraging when patterns return because the ego wants progress to look like distance. Like, I'm past that. I'm above that. I'm beyond that. I get it. But healing isn't about leaving parts of you behind. No, it's way far from that. It's literally about bringing them into safety. That is key, safety. So if something returns, it's usually not because you're regressing. No, not at all, my friend. It's because something deeper in your body is now safe enough to come up for air. It's beautiful. So right now, if you're noticing an old pattern come back right now, let me say this very clearly with so much love. You're not broken. You're not falling. You're not behind. You're also not failing in life. You're meeting something again with more awareness that you had than before. And that is the spiral. That is the path. That is healing. It's not a straight line forward, no, but a deeper, softer, more honest relationship with yourself. And eventually, you don't outgrow patterns, you integrate them. That's the difference. And when they no longer need to protect you, they gently fall away. If this resonated with you in any way, I want you to kindly sit with this question. What is this pattern trying to protect in me? Not what is wrong with me, not what needs fixing, but what's trying to be cared for. That's where real healing lives. I want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking time to listen. And I'm sending you so much love from my heart to yours. Thank you.